Dark Myth, Wukong. Chapter 50, First Contact. Gazing at the lush green illusion demon island before him, Sun Wukong didn't rush to descend. If he landed rashly, he could very well be attacked by the demon dream race. Though unafraid, he didn't want to invite unprovoked assaults.
I am Sun Wukong, the great sage equal to heaven, here for the 5-colored divine stone.
He called out 3 times. Finally, a plume of dust rose from the center of Illusion Demon Island, gradually solidifying into the form of a giant. The giant spoke.
Is the visitor Sun Wukong?
Sun Wukong replied from afar.
Indeed.
We invite the great sage equal to heaven to the center of Illusion Demon Island.
With that, the dust figure twisted and then dispersed with a gentle breeze. It seems I still have to force my way through this pass, Sun Wukong muttered, shaking his head slightly before diving down onto the island. Only when he truly set foot on this land did he grasp its immense scale. Viewed from the sky, the island merely appeared unusually dense. But standing on it, he discovered that all the trees were incredibly massive, true sky-piercing giants. Although Flower Fruit Mountain had its share of ancient, towering trees, they were few in number, looking like cranes among chickens. This place was different. Every tree was colossal, making one feel utterly insignificant. They were clearly just trees, yet they gave Sun Wukong the feeling of facing an entire star-filled sky. Activating his fiery eyes, golden gaze, he saw only ordinary trees. Unable to comprehend this sensation, Sun Wukong didn't dwell on it further. With a flick of his finger, the Golden Cudgel appeared out of thin air. He reached out, grasped it firmly, and then shouldered it. Only then did Sun Wukong breathe a little easier. Ever since stepping onto Illusion Demon Island, he had suddenly felt a faint killing intent and an extremely unsettling sensation, as if he were a mouse being stalked by countless cats, the constant feeling of potential doom making him deeply uncomfortable. When the Golden Cudgel was in his hand, this feeling lessened somewhat. That elusive, unnerving sensation still lingered. Checking his physical condition, Sun Wukong then stepped into the forest. Of course, this forest had its own name. The demon dream race called it the Ghostwood Forest. As he stepped into the forest, the surrounding space suddenly dimmed. Sun Wukong knew it was, because the island's trees were so enormous they blotted out the sunlight. Underfoot lay a thick layer of withered branches and dead leaves. This island had likely been untouched by human feet for countless years. Sun Wukong gripped his Golden Cudgel, his protective water shield emitting a faint blue light, adding a touch of eerie color to the dim forest. He moved forward cautiously, step by step. In truth, Sun Wukong knew that, with his current strength and physical defense, there was almost nothing in this world that could harm him, yet he remained vigilant. He had paid dearly for his carelessness in his previous battles with Ba Shenyan and the flowing light myriad world's Buddha. He would absolutely not make the same mistake again. But after walking for a full Jing hour, he still hadn't found anything. It was a bit gloomy and cold, but that was all. This made Sun Wukong a little puzzled. Could they have changed their minds and decided not to trouble him? As this thought crossed his mind, his guard momentarily relaxed. Just then, a flash of cold light shot out from the side, clearly aimed at Sun Wukong's temple. His mind jolted. He knew he had been a tad too complacent. In the nick of time, Sun Wukong managed to turn his head, and a dark silver arrow whizzed past his face. The sharp aura sent a stinging pain across his skin. But before he could heave a sigh of relief, he caught sight of 2 more arrows speeding towards him from the left, one following closely behind the other, gaffed to its predecessor. This way, even if Sun Wukong dodged the first, he'd be hit by the second. But the arrows were too fast. He had no time for a large evasive maneuver. However, Sun Wukong was, after all, a warrior tempered through countless life-and-death battles. He ducked, avoiding the first arrow, then swept his golden cudgel horizontally. The second arrow struck the cudgel directly, sending sparks flying. Seizing the opportunity, Sun Wukong finally somersaulted behind an ancient tree, allowing him a moment to catch his breath. Otherwise, once the enemy controlled the rhythm of the attack, he would be forced into purely defensive evasion. Taking a deep breath, Sun Wukong was more than a little alarmed. Fortunately, his keen senses had detected the peculiar power on the arrows in time. If he had arrogantly tried to block them with his water shield, he feared he would be severely injured, or even dead by now. His water shield was utterly useless against those arrows, more fragile than paper. This showed just how terrifying the power imbued in those arrows was. A quick glance confirmed his choice: 3 dark holes in the ground not far away. Just then, a sense of danger suddenly washed over him. Without hesitation, Sun Wukong dodged sideways from behind the tree, but he didn't stop, his figure flickering continuously, vanishing in an instant. Where he had just stood, several more dark holes had appeared. This time, being closer, Sun Wukong saw clearly that the ground struck by the arrows caved in instantly, forming arm-sized holes. Frowning, Sun Wukong knew he couldn't let this continue. Being constantly on the defensive made him vulnerable. His opponent was likely a master, at least a lower sage in strength, and exceptionally skilled at concealing their tracks and aura. To counterattack, he could only think of a surprising method. At this moment, 3 more arrows shot towards Sun Wukong from behind, seemingly intending to pierce through the ancient tree along with him. This was not surprising. Forget an ancient tree. Even a millstone-sized block of bluestone could be effortlessly pierced by those arrows. But this time, Sun Wukong seemed a little distracted, failing to dodge immediately. Only when the arrows were a mere foot from the ancient tree did he belatedly scramble away. But it was clearly too late. 3 arrows, arranged in a triangle, pulverized the ancient tree, the exploding trunk sending countless wood splinters flying like snowflakes. When all the wood splinters had fallen to the ground, Sun Wukong's figure was gone, but a pool of blood was strikingly clear. Evidently, Sun Wukong was injured. On a distant ancient tree, a figure revealed a contemptuous smile. However, the next moment, this figure vanished. When it reappeared, it was behind a large rock. The figure perked up its ears to listen, a victorious smile playing on its lips. Then, it nocked an arrow. 5 arrows shot out rapidly, faintly forming an array, rushing towards the canopy of an ancient tree. A moment later, a tragic scream was heard. The smile on the figure's face grew even brighter. But the next moment, the smile froze, because an entirely ice-cold iron cudgel was already resting on its shoulder.